Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust with another installation of Black Prosperity. I'm really excited this morning because we're talking about the thing that everybody loves, and that is about giving away money. We're here this morning to talk with the two dynamic young ladies in my office, the Batman and Robin of Economic Development, and they're here to discuss our upcoming grant. Again, we are excited to be providing dollars to help to incentivize Black business to be great. So this morning I have with me Ms. Latoya Bird and Ms. Jacqueline Davis. Jacqueline, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you, Bill?
Now tell us your title and tell us what you do.
I'm the Economic Development Manager, and I oversee everything related to the grant process, our technical assistance partners, all our resources that we offer for our grant community and our Black businesses in Miami-Dade County.
Good. And joining hers is the person I always say, Bird, 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 Bird is a word. Latoya Bird, good morning.
Peace and welcome to everyone. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now tell us about what you do and within economic development.
Well, I'm the business expansion specialist, and I'm just here to support the businesses as they go through the grant process, making sure they have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted.
Good. You know, you guys spend a lot of time helping Black businesses to grow, and I think the thing that I love about this program is that we're really getting to the point now as an organization where we are beginning to put intellectual dollars behind businesses. We're not just giving out grant dollars. Talk to me about what you've seen in regards to the monies in the past that we've given out and how it's helped businesses. And Jacqueline, why don't you do that for us?
Well, what we're noticing is that the businesses are learning a lot of back office information from these dollars. They're actually getting in touch with a lot of the technical assistance partners, so they're learning a lot of processes that they weren't able to get education about prior to the grant because they did not know that these partners were out there and the resources were available. So they do, and they actually collaborate a lot with Latoya because she was here during the first grant process, and it's great to see that where they started and where they are now.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, that's the thing for me, right? I mean, because I listen, you know, Miami-Dade County is a $14 billion economic engine itself. It's larger than a handful of states in the United States in regards to the amount of money that is out there. And you know, one of the things that we know is that this is the center of the universe for small business because we don't have a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered here. So, you know, getting these Black businesses to scale for me is so important. So Latoya, when you know, give me a case in point. Give me an idea in regards to a business that came to us that we gave a grant to. Tell me about why we gave them the grant and maybe kind of where they're at today and how we've helped them.
Okay, so I like that question because it's a loaded question.
Yeah.
It's a couple of businesses that have received the grants and have gone on to do great things. So we have grant recipients, let's say Juice Defined in the Opelika area, who is providing health services and fresh pressed juices and vegan
They're good
food.
too. I actually had them in my refrigerator when we came. I bought some from them. Yeah.
And Fatia has done an amazing job in her brand from receiving the grant and just staying committed to scaling her business. So seeing her have her brick and mortar and it grow and expand beyond that, that's been nice to see, as well as her take other businesses under her wing and encourage them to also fill out for the grant. So that's one business that I have in mind. Also, BAM Events, you all saw her last time. I think she was featured here on one of the shows, going from being a grant recipient to a retiree to putting her all into her business. That was nice to see down in Florida City. And there's several other businesses that even received our startup grant and now are going on to other grant opportunities and staying in connection with us because they know we have the resources that we share freely with the community. They always stay close and near and are showing us what they're doing with their business.
You know, in Miami, right, you have a very large Hispanic population. And the Black community is about 16 to 17%. And our businesses, the number is extremely low in regards to those that are there. our biggest challenge sometimes is not just in sourcing businesses that are prepared to accept this grant. Is having them to go through the process. The process is difficult, right? I'm going to be upfront and say that. But tell me about what is the sticking point with most of them. And Jackie, I mean, when you see these businesses that come to us, what slows them down in the process?
I think what really slows them down, what I'm noticing, is that because they're so small, they don't have the support to take the time out of their business to actually do the grant. So I think maybe if we could connect them with someone that maybe could come to them and help them while they're at their business, that probably would help out a little bit more. But we have connected them with a lot of community partners, and they do work with their schedule to try to accommodate them as best as they can to help them and guide them through the grant process.
All right. One of the things I always talk about is I hate throwing good money after bad. Tell me about the grant process and what ensures that the folk that we give the money to are responsible, are ready, and we believe when we give them the yes that they can execute. What's that look like?
Well, we really look at their financial portfolio. So we look at where they are in their business, what type of revenues they're bringing in, just to see if they're really ready to move to the next level for a grant. Because what we don't want to do is give them a grant and then they're out of business in 6 months.
Yeah.
So we do work with them and to ensure, and we do a lot of follow-up. We do keep in contact with our grant community a lot. So they are in contact with us very frequently.
And if I may add, Mr. Diggs, on that note,
Mr. Diggs, he's in Augusta, Georgia, 90 years old. I'm Bill. Go ahead.
Bill, on that note, I think with our evaluation committee, they do an excellent job because they also delve into what is on SunBiz. So sometimes we get applicants who have reinstated, or have had a gap in business and then reinstate. And so that leads the committee to believe, hey, are you really, really in business? And so it's different tiers and different layers of looking at the business, in addition to, of course, the finances, but how are you showing up on SunBiz?
So you're saying that it's important for you to have a business that has a particular level of continuity?
Absolutely.
Okay, so explain how that doesn't happen. I mean, I know, but so tell me.
Sometimes when you're doing a business as your side hustle, you give it side hustle energy. You don't give it the amount of dedication that it may need to actually be that business. And it doesn't have to be a brick and mortar business. It just has to be a consistent business. And so sometimes because of lack of resources, lack of support, businesses tend to go in and out of operation. And they may not necessarily know that, hey, this is not business as usual. Business is actually being consistent. Business is actually knowing your clientele, your customer, and your competitors, and knowing what you can do to position yourself for profit.
Right.
So profit first, that's one of the business courses that we require the community to take that is applying for the grant. So
okay, wait a minute. So you're telling me in order to apply for one of our grants, you have to take a class first?
Yes.
How about that?
Yes, it's a part of the application process.
Okay.
And we implemented that at the latter part of last year.
Yeah.
Because normally it was reserved for once you became a grantee, then we had additional items and things for you to do. But I said, you know what? When Robert was here, I said, why don't we put that on the front end?
Yeah.
Because it becomes more valuable, the application process, for the business owner and for the community. And we have a lot of feedback from people that even don't get the grant. They thank us for putting those requirements in the rubric in place on the application, because they would have never, gone that extra step if it weren't for the application process. So yes, they have to do business courses through Strive 305 that the mayor offers, and it's just a benefit for them.
Yeah.
And so it shows them that, hey, maybe I need to do a few things a little bit different,
Right.
so that I can position my business for profit,
Right.
and then for grant opportunities. So profit first is one of the courses that they offer.
All right, so let's get into this grant. We've probably got about maybe 15, 20 minutes left. Tell me about this grant cycle process and what we're doing. Jackie.
Well, the interesting thing about this grant cycle is this has never been done before. We're releasing 2 grants at the same time.
Wow.
So we have
Look at MD.
Look at MD. We have our $5,000 grant,
Right.
which is for our more seasoned business owners who have to be in business at least 3 years or more. And we have our $2,500 grant, which is for our new startup businesses from 6 months to 2 years.
Okay. All right. Okay. So why are we doing it this way?
Well, we're doing it this way so that we can get an opportunity to get all the grant dollars out prior to Black Business Month.
Yeah.
So that is the idea.
Good. Okay, so where are we at in the process? Tell me where, what's the application look like? When does it have to be in by? And what are some of the kind of standard rules of application this year?
Well, the grant opened on May 14th, and the deadline is June 14th at 5 p.m.
Okay, now, so we've had this issue before. So when you say June 14th at 5 p.m., tell us why you're exaggerating that point.
Well, we have some applicants that turned in the application late, and they were disqualified.
Okay.
So we want to hold the businesses accountable.
All right. Okay. So now, I mean, listen, we the government, right? So when we say you have to have it in by 5 o'clock, how do we validate that?
Well, they have to be in our email if they're emailing it to us prior by 5 o'clock. That's the deadline.
Okay.
And
with all the information. So if they're missing something,
if you're missing any of the required information, your application will be disqualified. And we have it outlined on the rubrics. LaToya did a great job of letting them know what is required.
Right. To make sure that it's in by 5 o'clock.
Right.
Okay. So now, can you apply for both grants?
No, you cannot. That is also on the application.
Okay.
So you cannot apply for both grants. If you're a startup, you don't qualify to.
Yeah, for the other.
Yeah, you don't qualify.
Right.
And if you previously received a grant with us this year, you cannot apply for the grant.
Okay.
Or last year.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we had some seminars, right, to talk to people about the grant application. What were some of the things that you thought that stuck out that people continue to have questions about that we cleared up on those 2 days? Because we did one north and we did one south, right?
No, we did both.
Both were north. We actually do our workshops down south next week.
Oh, okay. Okay, next week. Okay,
Next
great. I know something's coming. Okay, good.
Right.
Good. Okay, so what sticks people? What's the piece?
I would say that at the workshops, everyone has the question of, how many points is this worth, or how many points is that worth?
Okay.
So we go over literally page by page, and for both the 5K grant as well as the 2,500 grant to let them know what is required, how many points you're going to get, and so it's pretty straightforward. I would say last year people had more questions last year. This year, with the application being a bit more refined, they're seeing how clear it is, and so with me, clarity brings cash, and that's what we do at the workshops. We make sure that everyone is getting their questions answered, and it's pretty much just outlining and holding their hand a little bit through page by page, and so. They are excited to apply now because they see how direct it is. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I will say it may be simple if you understand the process. For people that never applied for a grant, they do have some challenges.
Struggle with it a little bit.
And they are intimidated just a bit.
But that's okay though. Right. I mean, I believe that's okay. And I'll tell you why I believe that's okay. I tell people, I said, if the line for easy is long, right? I mean, everybody's in the easy line. And I would much rather be in the line that's shorter that says that I know my business, right? Because I think that, like I said again, I'm not giving you money to help your business to run this year. I'm not. I'm attempting to give you money. This organization, the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust, wants for you to be prepared to become a certified vendor through Gary Hartsfield's organization and Small Business Development Department. We want to increase the number of vendors that our county has, because that way it's a partnership, right? You become a vendor, your business grows, you pay taxes into our community, it fuels the next opportunity. I am not looking to work with an organization that's not willing to get to scale, right? So these small business grants, I think, are vitally important, like a larger business grant. And I say that because we just gave out these $10,000 grants to 10 businesses. Give me an idea in regards to kind of what those 10 businesses represented in regards to industry and maybe what they have done.
Okay. I like that question because we had one of our highest scoring applicants, which was Tidy Pets, which is a pet waste management company out of down south. And so I have never seen a pet waste management
I hadn't either. And as a matter of fact, and the young lady used to work for the Orange Bowl Committee many years ago, and I remember her from there because after, I made my presentation at the last one, she came up to me, she said, "Mr. Diggs, you don't remember me." And I said, I don't lie about that anymore. I'm like, no, I don't, because as I've gotten old, I forget, and in the sense of me lying and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" and not knowing who you are. So I said, and she told me she worked for the Orange Bowl Committee in the past, and she mentioned the name of some very dear friends of mine, and so I said, "Oh wow, you got a grant, congratulations," and she said, "Tidy Pets." And so tell me what she does in regards of this whole pet waste management stuff.
So literally she is a caretaker for pets. When you see that person at the park with 20 dogs on a leash, as well as just providing care for the animals and literally pet waste management. She is a pooper scooper, if you will.
And she has contracts at residential and commercial properties where she picks up the poop for the residents at their home and for different condominiums for their residents as well.
And I've encouraged her to work with AI to kind of become the pet waste management Uber type of situation.
Let me tell you something. I tell people all the time, necessity is the mother of all invention. I mean, who would know that business thrives, right? I mean, because when you think about it, it's, people now are replacing children with pets. And so pets now have an entire industry wrapped around themselves. I saw the other day a guy walking down the street, not far from me, with a stroller with a pet in it. And the pet was sitting in here like he was human. The pet's adapted to this new environment. So I can imagine that this young lady's business is going to take off as long as she is able to continue, right, to build her business in a sophisticated manner with a business plan that indicates what it is that she's trying to do.
And I believe she's definitely on her way to doing that. And being an applicant with the highest scoring application speaks to your business, speaks to the quality of what you produce. And our last applicant for the startup grant last year who had the highest score was Miss Joy of CoSpace. And you can see her business thriving and growing as well. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Tidy Pets. We also had Upright Spine Center.
Yeah, tell me about that one.
Upright Spine Center is the first Black female chiropractic office, I want to say, in the South area with Dr. Amber. And she was one of the grant recipients down south in District 8, the only business in District 8 to receive one of our $10,000 grants.
Great.
And then we had so many Lou Foundation, Focus Learning and Lou Foundation are nonprofit organizations Focus Learning, of course, deals with academics.
Yeah.
And Lou Foundation, I want to say, deals with the bereaved family and people that are going through that process.
You know, I want to stop you there and talk for a quick minute, because this is one of the things that I found interesting. We're one of the very few organizations that actually gives grants for business to nonprofits. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important, and I think it's important for a couple of reasons. You know, people say, one person said, well, you know, nonprofits don't pay taxes. I said, nonprofits in the Black community are probably the largest employer of people of color in all of Miami-Dade County. Mm. When you take a look at organizations like CHI, like Jesse Trice, Medical Center, like Jefferson Reed's Medical Center, like Old Town Youth Center, like Girl Power, like the YWCA, and Catholic Charities, and you begin to understand that they employ people. They need, influxes of cash as well to be able to continue to operate and be successful, because they do pay, property taxes on, for the businesses. They, they pay, unemployment insurance. They pay all kinds of fees that help to make our economy go on a daily basis. And so it's not like they don't. And I think that we need to understand that they themselves need to scale, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, when you take a look at the Old Town Youth Center, I mean, 15 years ago they had 10 employees, and now they've got almost 100.
Nice.
And think about longevity. Name me Black businesses that have been around for a longer period of time than Dolores Dunn's organization and Urgent Inc. and Touching Miami with Love. When you look at these nonprofits, many of them have successfully been able to get grants over the years because they know how to run a business. There's a lot to be learned by taking a look at what Black nonprofits have done in regards to how great business has gone. So I want to say that we support nonprofits as a business segment every day. And I think that more of us need to take a smarter look at how we can help our community to grow, because at the end of the day, they're large employers. Mm-hmm. They really are.
And they do service that comes with passion.
Yeah.
And so they have a different mission, a different drive, and you can see it in their business. And definitely with Lou Foundation and Focus Learning, they were two of the nonprofits that got grants the last cycle. Good. We had Fade Away Miami, a barber shop. We had Treats and
Is that
Eats.
Nico's shop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Nico down south.
Yeah.
And we had Treats and Eats.
Good.
We had Slutty Icy, Exotic Ices.
Yeah.
And we had Kinsey. Forgive me. Kinsey is the interior designer.
Carrie Kinsey.
Yeah, I forget the name of his company.
Kinsey
Perry.
Right.
Creative director.
Yeah.
In his business.
Sharp young man.
Yes, yeah. And you mentioned Popo's, which is Popo's Seafood.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave anyone out.
We probably have. It always happens. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you leave them out that way. It won't just be me who leaves people out. But listen, so let's move on. So we've had 2 classes in regards to the grant application process, and we have another one coming up. And you said on the south end of the county. So tell me when and tell me where.
Okay, next Tuesday, on the 28th.
A week from yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're going to be at the Naranja Branch Library down south, as well as the Idea Center in Homestead on Friday. And I believe that's going to be the 31st.
The 31st? Yeah,
yes.
Good.
And so
we're doing 2. That's great.
We're going to do 2, and it's not just us going over the application, but we're going to have our community partners there. I heard you mention SBD. Yeah. They will be there as well.
Oh, great.
Procurement, career
wow.
sources, and our technical assistance partners. So this is not just an event where you come and just learn about the grant. We give opportunities for you to learn about our partners, and that expands beyond our technical assistance partners.
Oh, that's great. Good. So we're doing some real partnership with other county agencies. We got to mark that down and check it out and make sure that people know that. I mean, because, listen, we consider ourselves to be the go-to organization for economic development in the Black community. I think it's very important that we own our space, right? In regards to, because with that comes a responsibility of delivering on the promise of helping our community to thrive. And I think congratulations to the both of you, because this really does show that partnership, and the thing I love is that you guys do this independently of me, right? Which makes our organization look good, so I appreciate it. I think that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really do. So June 14th or so, is it June 14th that the grants are due?
Yes.
June 14th, 5 o'clock. So what happens after that?
So after that, after you run through the finish line, we go to work on the back end.
Okay.
And we coordinate with our selection committee, who is evaluating the grants, and that's a tedious process. And this particular round is going to be a heavier round because we have 25 applicants from the 5K and 20 applicants for the startup, the 2500. So it's going to give us a lot of work to do to make sure we're helping and supporting the evaluation committee evaluate each application fairly.
Wow.
And then once that process is done,
and that takes what?
It can
a month or?
Yes,
about a
this
month.
round may take about a month because last grant cycle we only had 10 applicants, and this grant cycle we're looking at 45.
Okay, now when you say 10, not 10 applicants, we had
10 recipients.
10 recipients.
So we will have 45 this round.
45 recipients?
45 recipients.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So it's going to be heavy, if you will. But we're looking
Jackie,
forward to it.
explain this to me. We're going to give out 45 grants. How many applications do you think we're going to receive? I mean, I know that's a loaded question, but
we're thinking maybe we may get 200 applicants.
Wow.
We're thinking maybe we'll get about 200.
Wow. That's a lot, because I mean, each application. How many pages do you think these things are?
The application itself is about 4 pages, and then they have to submit all their supporting documentation as well. So it's outlined in the application. You have to submit 3 attachments, and the 3 attachments include your business documentation from SunBiz. You need your tax return. So it's very thorough what you need. And
so you're talking about almost 50, 60 pages per application?
Possibly, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and we receive those electronically, but you can also bring it into the office.
You can also drop it off in the office.
Okay.
Yes, so.
Now, I want to say this. I would encourage you to drop it off in the office instead of putting it in the mail, right?
Right. We would not recommend that it's mailed in. So you either email it or drop it off to us. That's what we prefer.
All right. Okay.
Right.
All right. So Jackie, you've been with us for how long now?
Maybe like 3 months now.
Is it 3 months? Seems like it's been a lot longer than that.
It seems like it's been a lot longer than that.
Yeah. I want to apologize for that. I know it's been long. Because now, before you came here, what were you doing?
I was with small business development.
Okay.
So I was working under Gary Hartfield, and that was interesting to see the business come in and become county vendors, and then work under Gary's program to gain access to these contracts.
Right. And I would tell you, I think that the experience that you brought to us has been invaluable. I really am glad that you made that leap and trusted us enough to join our team. I think it makes a big difference, because in my mind, you've got practical experience and you kind of understand what's missing out there a little bit. Yeah, it's a big deal.
I'm glad you got me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And you've joined our good friend, like I said before, LaToya, who, we haven't spoken about artificial intelligence, and we've only got a minute left. But if you had to put it into a sentence, what do you think the future of AI is?
The future of AI is definitely your business assistant and not your business CEO. That's what I would say.
How about that? I think that's a word right there. I mean, you're right about that. I mean, sometimes technology can go awry. You know, we want to make sure that we use technology as a tool and not have it to be a weapon, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's I think it's a big deal. You know, so we're at the end of our program, and I think I want to leave you with this thought that Miami business begins and ends with economic development. The only way that we as a community are going to rise is that mom and dad have a job. I don't want to give out tennis shoes to children anymore. I don't want to give out T-shirts to children anymore. I want to help these Black businesses expand and grow so that they themselves can control their house, their neighborhood, and their community. If we do that, then the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust job is done. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We'll see you on the other